Welcome back to the regular verbs, ER verbs. And as we have discussed in the previous lectures as well, that ER verbs are actually going to govern the present tense along with them. Here in French, we can't isolate the tenses from the verbs. The more you will be learning about the more you will be understanding that they are intertwined. Okay. So let's get started with the uses of the present tense. That is what we are doing. We are doing the ER verbs right now. So here, it's pretty much clear that the present tense in French has three equivalents in English. This we have discussed in the last last video as well. Even if you're saying I speak French, or you want to say I am speaking French, or I do speak French, you just have to use one structure. Je parle. In more of the cases, present tense can convey the meaning of the near future. For example, they will arrive around 6 this evening. कहने का मतलब तो वही होता है ना, they are coming around at this is evening. So you can replace that will with the meaning of are. Even in those cases, you can use the simple present tense. Elles arrivent. And new vocabulary word, back is around. And this evening is Saswa. Will you be looking for this job summer? Job this summer. So will you be looking, or are you going to look for a job in this summer? That is what is happening. So because it is taking that sense also, you can use simple present. Tu cherches, a job is un emploi. This summer cet été. Another thing, which is very, very, very important. Another important aspect. When two verbs are consecutively used, mind this point. The first one is conjugated and the second one is infinitive. Same is the case we used to do in the English language also. If we used to write I went in the simple past tense, and if I want to write it in the form of did, present indefinite, I will never use the structure I did went. I will use I did go. Even in this case, you can see the first verb has been in the form it was required. Or in other words, in French, it is in conjugation. So the second is going to stay in its infinitive, original form. All right. There are some infinitives that directly follows the verb. Most of the time, we start our sentences with these verbs. Aim, aimez mieux, détester, préférer, with no intervening preposition. इनके बीच में there is no preposition most of the time. जैसे, I want to say, I like watching movies. What could be I like?
Jane.
I like.
Je
Jane.
préfère.
Yep.
Oh, Jane.
See, here we are having two verbs in this sentence. The one is like, the another one is to watch. So even if I'm using the ing form in the English language, but according to the rule in the French, the first one is the one that is going to be conjugated according to the subject pronoun. And the second one is going to come in its infinitive form. Let's try to have the answer. So as you said, I like, this is going to be conjugated. So I will write J. We just have done the exercises, we know that. And what is to watch?
Regarder.
Très bien. Regarder. The movies can be les films. That's it. So what did I do? I just said, what did I do? This is the first, which is in the conjugation form, and the second one is coming in the infinitive form. This is the simple rule we need to make. Are we clear with this?
Yes.
Yes.
Trivia. For example, even in English, if you say you hate to watch TV, you hate to watch TV, you're kidding. In English, we are using a preposition to in between. But in French, we don't need to write its replacement a. The reason is very simple. In French itself, when we talk about the word regarder, its first meaning is to watch. Both the words are already included. So I don't need to specify anything. Okay. So you hate to watch the TV. Now two verbs are, the first one is hate and to watch is the second one. According to the rule, we are going to conjugate the first one. So you can see if they are using vous, they are using the conjugation form with is ending. Vous détestez, this has been conjugated. And the second one is coming in the infinitive form. TV is la télé in the informal form. And in the formal form, you can call it la télévision. Okay, the complete word we need to use. La télévision, it is feminine. One more tip, most of the time, if your words are ending with S-I-O-N, most of the time I'm saying this because some exceptions will always be there. So this is going to be a feminine ending for the majority of the time. And you're kidding, you can add this into your vocab words. You're kidding, you can say favre. Favre is also not really. Both of the meanings are there. If you want to say not kidding or not really, in the exclamated form, so you can say favre. Yes, I prefer working. But yes, it is we. To prefer, you can use simply the prefere also, but they have made the use of the aimer mieux, which is the better version, and working, which is the second word. So for prefer, they have used j'aime mieux, working is travailler. Now I know you have already understood, but this is number one, this is number two. So that's why this is going to be conjugated according to the subject pronoun, which is je, I, and this is going to come in its infinitive form, travailler. This is the second one. Also, there are some construction in which there are verb plus verb, and there is the requirement of a and the. Both are the prepositions. Where a refers to, obviously, to, the refers to, often from. They are used before the infinitives. And in the next chapter, we are going to discover that what is that common verb list in which the constructions are required. Like, if you want to say, I begin to work, there, you need to use a separately. No doubt, I begin is je commence. This is conjugated. And the rule will remain same that the second verb is going to be in its infinitive form. But before they are bridged, we need to use the preposition a. We will learn more in the chapter number 7. Then we have they refuse to continue. Il refuse, it can also mean, or refuse can also mean. To continue is continue, but to link them both, we have to use the. This is a complete list. We'll do it in the chapter number 7. But here you can just keep this thing in. Now, the negation. Again, very simple phenomena. We know that in all the tenses, the first primary negation, which is do not or don't, that comes with a combination of two words, na and pa. You can see this space left between them. This space is to be filled with the conjugation. the conjugated form of the verb. Let's understand it a little bit more. For example, if we see the first sentence, we close the door. Very simple structure. This is your subject, this is the verb, and this is the object. So let's translate. This is your subject. No. This is the verb conjugated according to the subject, and this is the object. Simple as that. We close the door. Nu fehmola por. Are we clear till here?
Yes.
Yes.
In English language, the structure goes like this. We, your subject, then verb, and then the object, and you put the negation part here. We don't close. The helping verbs come before the verbs. It works as a helping verb. Do not, do, does, they are helping, and then you will add not. Actually, if you see it very closely, है तो ये भी दो word ही है, do or not. I will not say that there is word by word translation possible in the French. But somehow two elements are required here also. करना क्या है हमने? You just need to find out your word, the conjugated part, this one. And in front of this conjugated part, you will put na. And after this conjugated word, you will put pa. That's it. The rest of the sentence will remain same. Nu as such, tehmo as such, but आगे न पीछे पा. La porte as such. Now, once you got the hold of na pa situation, you should get yourself acquainted with the one more rule, which is obviously there. Na simply will become an apostrophe if your verb is either starting with a vowel sound, which is A, E, I, O, U, and ashmuni. If either of these cases is there, your na will drop its E and it will simply become an apostrophe. For example, there are some examples below. The first is very easy. Jacqueline lives here. To live is habite. So according to the Jacqueline, because she is she, so according to that subject pronoun, we will conjugate it as simply. It will become Jacqueline habite ici. You will drop the ER of habite and you will put E because that is the requirement of L. When the second sentence is there, it is consisting a negative part. Jérôme does not live here. You can see Jérôme was the subject. It's a masculine one. So in your mind, you can just have the subject pronoun. You can think about it, that the conjugation will become easy for you. So it is the replacement of il, if we say that. Does not live here. Again, the main verb is to live. To live is habite. For il also, the conjugation is going to be same. Here is also the same word, ec. We have to negate it. The rule is very simple. You will put na in front of it and pa after that. Now, why it's an apostrophe? We just discussed that. If your verb is starting with the vowel sound or ashmune, which is happening in this case, so n will drop the e and it will go an apostrophe. Similarly, it is in this sentence. He does not listen to the radio. To listen is écoute. If you are negating it, it should be n'écoute pas. But you cannot write N-E and then accent aigu. You simply will drop E and you will put E-A. That's it. Also, if a verb is followed by an infinitive, n or an apostrophe and pa, they are usually surrounded by the conjugated verb form. Please remember this. We have just done this. Even in the cases we are having two verbs, like here. We like to discuss. First verb is like. To discuss is the second verb. Issues may be or may not be there. That's the object. And according to our understanding, that is not pretty much required for the completion of the sentence. We like to discuss itself is a complete sentence. So we'll conjugate the first verb according to our first rule. Let's put them all together. It will become usemo. Simple as that. And to discuss will be in its infinitive form. Discuting. In the second sentence, we are combining all of them. Here, not भी दे दिया, like भी दे दिया, discuss भी दे दिया. Now, where should this NERPA go? To simplify it in your mind, what you can do is पहले NERPA छोड़ के write the whole sentence. हाँ, space छोड़ो उसका. वो, suppose I'm making the positive sentence. You like to discuss. So it will become वो zeme discute. And when it is negated, your NERPA should be around the conjugated verb. That's the rule. So you will put na here, pa here, and if this word is starting with any vowel or ashmoe, you know what to do. You will drop the e and you will put the n apostrophe. That's it. Simple as that.
This meeting is being recorded.
Now, there is a very, very interesting structure. Sometimes students confused it with the na-pa situation with the conjugated form. See, the rule says if the infinitive exactly itself is getting negated, we will use the combination of na-pa instead of taking them around the conjugation and then use them differently. Na, conjugated verb, pa. We made this formula, no? Abhi tak, what we did, let me write it here. We made for negation a simple form. Let's write it somewhere. Here only, let's say. For negation, la negation, the formula was very simple for class. You will take subject, you will take NE or N apostrophe plus your conjugated verb and you will take pa and you will close the statement if object is there with that. Okay, that was the simple rule that we were following. This was it. But now, what if अगर आपका infinitive ही negate होना शुरू हो जाए? So rule says you will put NERPA in front of the infinitive. जैसे I ask the teacher not to give a test. I ask, that is demander. To ask somebody is demander. According to the conjugation, it will become je demande. To the teacher, oh professor, not to give a test. The na pa done d'examen. Now, how na pa is coming together? There is just a little difference. Students get generally confused when you are saying do not. Structure जब तक do not है, हमारा simple structure रहेगा N, E, N apostrophe, conjugated verb, and then you will put the pa. But जैसे ही you want to say the other end, like not to, दोनों के difference देख लो. Do not नहीं कह रहे, we are saying not to. In that case, you will write no and pa together. That's it. Like here also, we are negating the infinitive itself. They prefer not to dance. So I will say il zeb miu ne pas danser. Infinitive को बीच में रख के negation नहीं किया जा सकता. If you want to negate the infinitive form, the second form coming in the sentence, you have to put na part together, or in the very, very, very simple word, the na conjugation and then pa gives you the meaning of don't. And if you want to say not to, you have to use a structure na pa and then infinitive. Simple as that.
This meeting is being recorded.
I hope you have understood this now. There is one more rule. We have already done the indefinite articles. You, they. So what happens is when you, they are in the affirmative sentence, if they are in your simple sentence, and you are changing that sentence to negative. If your simple sentence contains you, they, and you have to change that sentence into negation, there is a rule that pa will be there, but that you, they will change to de or d apostrophe. The condition is they are going to change in every other form, with avoir, with all other forms. But this rule is not applicable when we are dealing with the hetero. For example, on Sundays, we visit a museum. Le dimanche, ये हम कर चुके हैं already. On Sundays, le dimanche, we visit. Visit is visiter. So, en visit भी लिख सकते हो, nous visitons भी लिख सकते हो. A musée. Museum is a museum. If you have to negate it, it will be on Sundays. We do not visit a museum or any museum. That is what you want to say. We don't visit any museums or museum, obviously. So it will be le dimanche as such, no change. We know the rule. This is the conjugated part. Before it, we have to put na, and after it, it is pa. So on ne visite pas. Any museum now you want to give the reference to. You cannot say, we do not visit a museum, we do not visit some museum. In English, we make that sense as any museum. We don't visit any museums. So that's why it will become the. It's a rule. You, they will change to the. And if it has been started with a vowel, so there might be the drop of E and it would have been the apostrophe. That's museum is music.
This meeting
All right. Last but not the least is the chunk of our today. There are verbs without prepositions. Some English verbs, they require a preposition where French equivalents do not. Like if you want to say to look for, chercher is enough. To go over, to listen to, you just need to say écouter, and to look at, it is regarder. You don't need simply to put for, to, and at the end. That's what we are going to do today. You can read the below examples, and if you have any doubts, just drop a comment and we will be getting in touch.